Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening to some. This is a mic test to see if everyone is, can we hear each other? So can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Good, good.
Yes.
What about you, Cousin Francis?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm here.
And Betty?
I'm here.
We got you two ways, or this must be another Betty.
No, I don't know what happened. I signed in and it come up two of them.
That's okay. And we have Eddie.
Eddie's on mute.
Easy. Well, it's great to see everyone. Glad you took time of your busy day to join the meeting. This is our first meeting in March, and you know, a lot has happened since we last met. So it's good to be able to come and share our stories and reconnect our family in a peaceful, you know, environment. So I want to start off with, we have some new people. I see Daphne. Daphne, how do you?
Oh, hi.
Daphne.
Excuse me, Jerry.
Yeah.
Can I introduce Daphne?
Yes,
Go right
please.
ahead. Go right ahead, cuz.
I'm probably not going to stay on. Daphne is my third cousin.
First
And
cousin.
third cousin. No, Daphne and I are your third cousins, Jerry.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. She's my first cousin. We are descendants of Ed Burnell. And so her dad is William Lucius Hughes Jr. Her dad and my mom are brother and sister. So she called me and said she was coming on today. And so I said I'd come on and introduce my first cousin, Daphne.
Yay.
Daphne Hughes Glass. She lives in Rancho Cucamonga. And now I get off. And now Daphne can talk.
Well, I think you said it all. Glad to be here, Jerry. I always get your emails, but I don't know, something always comes up or something. But I said today, I said, I'm going to be on and connect with family. And I called, you call her Francis, I call her Dolores. I called her and said, you're going to be on because I'm going on. And so I'm just happy to be here and to meet some more family.
Oh, well, that's great. I've always seen your match. You know, I've always seen your match, and you know, we do match pretty high.
Yes.
Kenyatta did it one time.
Gracie, could you mute yourself, Gracie? If you can, Gracie, can you mute yourself?
What is this? See,
try to.
You see audio right here.
Yeah, good job.
What is this thing?
Gracie, can you hear me? Cousin Gracie.
Kenyatta, can you show me again how you got the volume to work?
You can put it there.
Uh, my friend, can you hear
There
me?
you
Can you hear me, my
Can
friend?
you hear me?
Yes,
Jerry,
yes, I
you hear
can.
me?
Yes,
Okay, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. So
go.
could you adjust your video as if you're looking in the mirror? Because we can just see a corner of yourself. See if you can
Oh,
make a
cause it
couple
wasn't,
adjustments.
but I didn't have it on me. Can you see me?
Yes. All right. There we go. Now, cousin Gracie, do you know how to turn your mute off and on now?
Now?
Yeah. Can you turn your mute off? Do you know how?
Can you what?
Turn the mute off.
You on mute? You want to mute it?
Yeah.
There you go. You are now. So as I said, a lot's happened since we last, since we all last met, and uh, I think it's important that we reach out to each other and to new family members and share our information because more than ever, our DNA and our matches, we need to know who our families are and our family history. And the way that that's done is by us connecting, number one, and telling our story and verifying it. With DNA, we can verify some of our family history, and with DNA, we can also meet our DNA cousins that we've never thought that we would ever meet. And today is an example. And so I'm I just this is one of my purposes is to reconnect our families through DNA. And that being said, uh, I just would like to meet who's all here. Um, I, on the meeting, I'll give you a brief introduction to myself, and then we can just follow through with Francis. I know you won't be long; you have to go. But Francis, Betty, um, Larry, Eddie, and then Gracie. These are our introductions, so we can know where we're at, where we live at, and what, so we can just meet each other, so we can build relationships. I'm the host, Jerry Moss Sr., and I live in San Diego, but I'm from Nebraska originally. And in my family history, when we talk about our four grandparents that I'm doing research on, their surnames are uh, Moss, Gildon, uh, Ellison, Bernal, and Kirksey. So I just want to those are four of my ancestors, grandparents, your four grandparents. There's statistics on that. There's a there's a low percentage of people who can name their four grandparents, and that's one thing that uh, through DNA you can, with work and other people's cooperation, you can find them. I happen to know who my four grandparents were, and I'm thankful for that. Okay, uh, let's go with Francis, cousin Francis.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm one of those who know who my four great grandparents are too, but I'm just going to talk about my paternal side because most of us have the connection to Arkansas. So my great grandparents were uh, Isham Burnell and Lucy. I don't know whose Lucy's name was, but some of the surnames in my maternal side of the family are Burnells, Kendricks, Godboats, Dismooks, Mosses, Ferguson's, Daphne, help me. There's so many. There's Quarrels, Thorns,
Boxes,
Boxes. They're
Be-
just if
Beasley's.
Beasley's. If your family lived anywhere in Columbia, Washita, Nevada County, Little River County, I have a feeling we are related somewhere. There is a connection somewhere. But for this group, it would be Burnell's, the Burnell family. Yes.
And she lives in
I live in
Carson.
Carson. I live in Carson, California. Oh,
Mhm.
I forgot another name. Johnson's, your cousin that I gave your number to, Jerry.
Yes.
Bernard is his name. Bernard Johnson lives in San Diego. So that, like Jerry said, they're just cousins out there everywhere. And they may live around the corner from you. And that's how I met Ezel Kendrick, who's my cousin, who lived in Long Beach about 10 minutes from me about 10 or 12 years ago. So it really is important. As my mother said, you need to know who your people are. And I know.
Oh man, how appropriate,
uh,
especially when we're finding out all these different relatives that we have that are quote unquote families, how they're
yeah,
interrelated. You know, we
yeah,
double cousins.
I'm done.
And I've met Frances a couple of times, and I've been to her house. My wife and I have been there over the years. We've been there, and she's my mentor who helped me with my research. The work that she had, she shared with me, and it was my cornerstone, and I built from the records that she shared with me, and and you have to start somewhere, and it was awesome that I met her, and she had did a lot of extensive records on our family, but she didn't have a lot of information on the Mosses, and that's where I picked up the torch and ran and started uh, doing the research on the Mosses, and so that's how we're connected. I'm from the Moss side. Mosses married Burnells 4 different times through these generations that we can document at least 4 different times. And my grandfather was one of them. David Moss married Ethel Burnell.
Jerry, can I tell one story and I will stop? And I don't know if I told you the last time I was here. Oh, back last year, my niece, stop me if you've heard this. My niece was at lunch with some friends. And one of the friends started talking about she had to go to a reunion in Atlanta. But she really didn't know that family, those Burnells. And my niece, who I figure hadn't been listening to anything I said, suddenly went, Burnells? I'm a Burnell. My niece is now telling her. So when they got to talking, so Thelma called her mother, my niece called me. Sure enough, Thelma is from the John Lilly Burnell branch of the family. And so a few weeks later, they're all at my niece's house. My niece lives out in Beaumont. And so somebody's there, and they were telling this story to their friends that now they're not friends, they're third cousins. And so as they're talking, somebody in the background says, I have a DNA test on Ancestry. And I remembered, and I asked, who is that? So I looked it up. She is a Moss, and she is also my cousin. So my niece suddenly had two friends who are now cousins. And so her name is Dewanda, and she lives in Beaumont too, and she is a Moss. And I think I gave her your information, Jerry, and she is the Moss is from Alabama. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if she's gotten in touch with you too. So you never know who your kin folks are. They might be having lunch with you. So my niece now has two new cousins that she didn't know she had until she had lunch.
That's great. That's awesome story.
Yeah.
And Francis, we've had meetings here on our meetings, we've had we just like these stories are shared, and we found out that different members are in the same city, same county, and they didn't know that until they participated in the meeting.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that story.
Mhm.
And by the way, this next gentleman, Larry Trice, he's related to us through the Brunels. Larry, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Larry Trice. I live in Vegas, and I wasn't aware that I thought I was related to you guys through a Robinson. But anyway, my people in Arkansas are out of Crittenden County. I'm originally from St. Louis, and hey, I'm still doing a lot of research, you know.
And Larry, from since we've met, you've done a lot of traveling to connect with your DNA cousins, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I've been able to connect with uh, one side of the Europeans, my European cousins. You know, I'm still trying to make contact uh, with other European because, okay, for example, on my paternal side, I'm at a brick wall. I can't seem to get past 1838, you know. Um, Whereas if I had connections on that side with one of the Europeans, maybe they could help me. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. But hey, I learned a lot of new stuff just this week. I got the original um, document, well, a copy of the original document when my maternal great grandfather enlisted into the Army in 1863. And it tells, he says he's 20 years old. It gives his height, and it gave me something else that I went off on. I found out that he was from Alabama. You know, I didn't know that. Anyway, it's a never ending quest this way, you know. I be tripping.
Well, thanks for your story, um, Big E Eddie Henderson. Could we have a brief intro, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I've been on here so much, I don't know why I have to keep introducing myself. Everybody, you should know me by now. I'm Eddie Henderson. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and I've been on with Jerry since he started his group. So I'm one of the ones that try to keep Jerry going in the right direction.
Yes, and Eddie has a meeting the same time as mine. His is on the second and fourth Sunday, the same time. He has a Zoom meeting with under the same format. So I have mine on the first and third, and he has his on the second and fourth. So if you miss out on one, you can, join another. And he has extensive research, and he helps technically. He is a mentor to many, and it's just he's a Chief fan. He's in San Diego, Kansas City, and just a great brother. You know, he's technically inclined, and he's real generous for sharing his time and his knowledge with this DNA with other people. So thanks, Eddie. Gracie, can you talk? And let's just go right to Clarice. Clarice, I know you just joined in. Could you give us a brief introduction about yourself, please, Clarice?
Hi, my name is Clarice White. I live in Sacramento, California. I was born and raised in California. I've been with this group for a few months. Very, very helpful, very instrumental. I've discovered I didn't know my father's family, but with Jerry's help and actually connecting with some family members, and I'm again just steady learning the terminology, the languages, and of how to use this. And I go to the charts every now and then, kind of do a little bit of research and looking. So I always enjoy the program because I learn something new each and every time. And thank you very much, Jerry.
And she's also I met her through one of my newly found DNA cousins named Reggie Romaine, and they are very active. They're activists in the California reparations uh, uh, task force and getting the community involved for California reparations. And Clarice is one of the instrumental leaders of that association. And so with reparations, you have to have qualifications, and it's lineage based. And so that's where we come together. They are very instrumental in the political component, and then in my case, I help them with the genealogy, how to connect their DNA. And so, but we need to know both the political and the genetics. And so that's what we're doing. We're collaborating, and the program is moving. It's moving. It's picking up a little steam, and we appreciate your cooperation when we share information with you, and because a lot of people have relatives who live out in California, and we just want to keep you abreast, and so we'll be ready to help each other. Thanks, Clarice.
If I may,
Go ahead.
Got a few little snags in the pot here now. They were supposed to. It's not going to come through this year like we thought it was, but they're doing another study. I think it's supposed to take a year on the genealogy part of it. I don't know what all the hangups. I have to get more information from Reggie, but there's been some distinction in the group and who's working on what and dealing with the California, but we have to collaborate for the federal because that's really where the money is. And who I understand that there's a Republican who has got to write this new bill, but he's not for the money issue. So there's some things going on with that. But what we're trying to do now and what we're telling people to do is get your genealogy done, kind of know who you are, your family are, do all the information you can. And we're working on building our own infrastructure. We're not looking for handouts. People are getting nervous because Trump's doing all these things. They've got these boycotts going on with what is the DEI, and that's not really for Black people. And we're trying to do African descendants, and we're not trying to bring in LBGs and all these other groups, which is the DEI is all about. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of shuffling going, but the main thing is knowing who you are, knowing who your people are, knowing what you're capable of doing, and through genealogy, you'll learn those informations. because a lot of times we've been so separated from our origins till we don't have those customs. But we need to know that our people have invented and discovered so many things in this country that we don't even know about. So genealogy is really where we should be focusing on, understanding who we are, where we come from, what we're all about, and getting that down pat. So whenever we get to the next stage of reparation, we'll be ready and we'll know what to do. I just want to add that in.
Does anyone have any questions about that? To Clarice? Gracie, can you unmute yourself and introduce yourself, please? Thanks, Clarice. She's going to try it. There you go. Go ahead.
Hi. My name is Gracie Spears. My actually my biological last name is Irvin. I was born in Selma, Alabama. I live here in Brooksville, Florida, where I was raised up at. I was introduced to Ancestry by Jerry, which we have DNA match. So far, I've been looking for a family. I only gotten 2 cousins. I haven't found anyone. I don't know my biological father, so I haven't found anyone related wise. So that see who's that is. And so I'm at a loss right now, and I haven't been able to do ancestry like I should. So I'm just waiting on help, Jerry.
Thank you, Clarice.
Gracie. You call me Clarice.
Yeah, Gracie, and you're in Florida, right?
Yes, Brooksville, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your introduction. And is your guest still there?
Yeah, she's here with me.
Well, just tell her, we appreciate her being with you. And
We hear you.
yeah, and you had her in the view. Could we see her real quick? Could you?
Yes.
She's a good friend.
Can you see her?
Yeah.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you? What is your name?
I'm Bonnie.
Go ahead.
I'm Gracie's friend. We met in my hometown of Bradenton. When she lived there, we went to the same church. I now reside in Tampa, and we have not seen each other for a while. She reached out to me last week. I recently lost my 36-year-old daughter, and Gracie reached out to me, and when she mentioned that we had not seen each other for a while, I just told her that we would spend today together. So I drove over from Tampa, picked her up, and we went over to St. Pete to my church, went out to dinner, and now I'm back here trying to help her notarize some paperwork before I go back home. So it's very nice to hear your stories. You're inspiring me because I need to do the same thing with my mom's side of the family. We're so detached. We don't know each other, and there's only a handful of us left. And this week, I will be setting up a Zoom meeting or trying to set up a Zoom meeting so that those of us that remain can finally get together.
Well, that's
so this is the thing that you're doing.
That's great. And if there's anything I can do to help you or Eddie, anything that I can do to help you with your Zoom meeting and connecting with your relatives, the first thing I recommend that you do is get their telephone numbers and email addresses.
Oh, I have their contact information.
And
I will be sending out I'll send out a group text and decide on a good day and time, and then I'll just set up the Zoom. I have a paid Zoom account that we can use. So yeah,
and
it's not an issue.
I know it's family, but I appreciate it if you would CC me, or invite me also to sit in and just soar over the meeting.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Gracie.
You're welcome.
You can mute yourself.
I will.
There you are. Okay, we have a couple people here. Hello, Margaret.
Hello.
How are you? Thank you for joining the meeting.
Yes. Carla Coleman gave me this link and asked me to join with you today.
That is so nice of her. We're having, an introduction about who about yourself, who you're researching, where you're from, and do you, your research. How do you need any help with your research? But either way, just tell us about yourself, and we can build. We want to build solid relationships. That's our goal, Margaret.
Okay.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I'm married into the family. I'm not an actual Moss, and I did some research on the Moss side of the family. I am originally I'm a Rainey, that I did research on that, and my mother's side of I did both the maternal and the paternal side of the family. The On my maternal side, I have gone back, what is it, 6 generations. Matthews, Towns,
Athena.
and then my dad's side. Now I've had a little problem, and that's why I was born here in Arkansas, and I lived in Missouri, went to school, came back to Arkansas with my job, and I'm still trying to research my dad's side of the family. It's a little crazy. um, we were raised as Rainies, but in checking with grandfather, they show Rainey and they show Johnson. Checked great grandfather's death certificate. It shows that he's a Craven, but I can't find any records of him as a Craven. I can only find records of him as a Johnson, and I can only find it in one area in Arkansas. But I haven't been doing a lot of research lately.
Margaret,
Yes.
Eddie has a question for you. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah. You said your last name was Rainey?
Yes, my maiden name is Rainey.
Spell it for me.
We spell it Rainey or Raney.
And where they from?
Izard County in Arkansas. That's northeast Arkansas.
Any from Texas?
There's a possibility, yes.
There's a great possibility because I'm related to the Rainies. They're my third cousins.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they're from the majority. Some of them are in St. Louis.
Yes.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Have that too.
And we were originally from East Texas, around Marion County.
Okay.
But it's a lot of them, and yeah, I'm kin to the Rainies.
Okay. Well, I have a young man that's here. He is the mayor of Wrightsville, Arkansas. My nephew's name is also Derek Rainey. And but I have not got a chance to go and talk to him. I talked to his father briefly. He tells me that there are rainies, that they have a rainy get together in Tennessee, like the Saturday after Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them in Alabama that he's found.
Do you have like a book with the Rainey's genealogy in it or anything like that?
No, I don't.
The reason because my side, my Rainey's, they were very large. It was one family had 20 something kids, and so they could be everywhere. But I know they kin to me.
Okay. Well, that's sort of like you Moss. It's sort of like the Moss family. My father-in-law told me all the Mosses were related.
Well, I'm a Moss also.
Okay. Well, he was from
So
Herniana. Well, it depends on how where you from and how you were raised. He called it Herniana, uh,
it's
Mississippi.
a town. It's a town in Louisiana called Mossville.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I wouldn't
And
doubt it. That's just like on my Pattersons. There's a Patterson, Mississippi, also for the Pattersons.
okay. Well, it might be.
Might be.
Go ahead, Francis.
Yeah, you used the name Craven. If you're looking for some Cravens, I'd look for them up in Howard County, Arkansas. They're originally from South Carolina. I'm related somehow on my paternal side to some Cravens.
Okay. Well, the ones that so far that I have run across are in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
That's getting up in that area. As a matter of fact, one of them has a DNA test on it. His name is Richard Craven. I think that's what it is. It's Richard Craven. Has a DNA test. You might want to check that out. So yeah, Craven and yeah, Craven.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you could please put your information, if you know how, put your information in the chat so you can share your uh, your contact information,
Okay.
and please share with Eddie so he can,
You said Eddie. You kind of got me there because my ex-husband is Eddie Moss. Okay. Now, Eddie Moss, he may be related to you. As I said, my father-in-law always says all you Mosses are related. Um, he lives in St. Louis, Missouri right now. Him and, see, he's got a cousin named Randy Moss. They both played football.
well, we know about the Randy Moss.
Okay, well, Eddie Moss is his first or second cousin.
Oh, everybody keep asking me, am I related to Randy Moss?
And this is the closest that I've heard of someone, Eddie.
But this is well, my some of my family moved to St. Louis. They stayed.
There's quite a few of them up there.
Huh?
I said, there's quite a few up there.
Has Margaret has have you taken a DNA test, or do you know if any of them have?
I don't know if any of them have. I have taken 3 different ones, but that, by me not being a Moss, I couldn't, test anything.
Okay.
Might have been mostly on the Towns, the Matthews, I have had a few relations as far as but I think it's more his siblings, children, or grandchildren that have come up.
Well, thank you for that information. And that's what happens in the meetings. You know, we talk, and it's a small world.
Okay.
Francis, you're driving. Could you introduce yourself and give us a brief intro, cousin? You're muted. You have to unmute yourself if you could.
Hi, how are you guys? Yes, I'm driving. Francis Massock. I'm maternal side is Lemons and Ross's, Hickman's. I think that's it for my mom's side. My dad's side are Nash's. And I don't know my great grandmother's side, but all from Texas mainly. Some Louisiana on my mom's side. My dad's side's out of East Caney. My mom is out of the Dallas, like the Dallas area. I'm in California currently. And I think we come in on my dad's side, right?
Please tell your story about what you knew and
Oh, yes.
and what you know now from
Okay.
from us meeting and working together with your DNA, please.
Yeah. So I did the ancestry test by chance. I didn't know exactly what it was going to return, but I bought it from one of my son's friends that does like Amazon, unopened box returns, whatever. And so my younger son said, Mom, you shouldn't do that because they're going to have your DNA and that, like they'll be able to, if you ever commit a crime or something, they'll have all your information. And so I put the test away for a few days and I thought, okay, I'm not going to do it. And then I thought, okay, why did I do that? They have our information anyways. So my mom and my father were not married. And I was born in like the 60s. So my mom didn't really discuss with me, the details of my father. It was kind of one of those things, just don't talk about it. And so I always wanted to know, the other side of my family. And I knew that I had sisters and brothers, just their names, first names, Michael and Linda, but I didn't know any real details about them. So my maiden name is Kavanaugh, but my older sister would always say, she's kind of nasty, nice, nasty. We don't know who you are. We don't know if you're a Kavanaugh, if you're a Nash. And so I always like, all right, who am I? And so I did the DNA test and it came back that my brother, Michael Nash, and I shared 1,869 strands of the same DNA. And so I knew the name Michael, but I just was looking always for Michael Kavanaugh, who never surfaced. And then I told Jerry and um, Monique and Monica. There was like 10 of us on the line, and they said, hey, we're your cousins. And so I told them the story. I said, I thought all this time I was a Kavanaugh, but I'm really a Nash. So I don't know any of my siblings on my dad's side, and I didn't grow up with them. So like a lot of you, they told me, hey, we can help you find out, who your family is. So they went to work in like an hour. They called me back, and we were all on the phone together. My two sisters and myself and my cousins, my newfound cousin. Mm-hmm. And so I've been connected with my family since 2020. So it's been like 5 years. I was looking at the information the other day, Jerry, and it's been great. I went to Texas to meet my dad's side of the family, and I met some of the older people. One of them has since passed. So I met her at the right time, right? She lives in the family house and all of that. And so I got to meet, my dad's side of the family. I got to meet my sisters on FaceTime. Two of my brothers have since passed away before I connected with them. So in, I guess, 2019, they passed away. And two of my sisters decided, it was too painful for them. They didn't want to talk about it, but at least I got to talk to them for like 4 years. So my one sister that's closest to my age and I, we're still in communication and contact. And I just said I'm grateful for the opportunity to know my truth and know who my, other siblings are. Yeah.
Thank
So
you
I
for
thank you, Jerry.
well, it's my pleasure because it meant a
Yeah.
lot. It meant a lot, and I would see you with your family and your
Yeah.
faces and how happy you all were, and
Yes.
it that's truly a blessing. It's only a gift from God, and thank you
Yes.
for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, Daphne,
I'm going to take a quick call and come right back.
go ahead. Come on, Daphne.
Yes,
Stephanie, how do you pronounce your name?
Daphne. Yes,
Daphne.
Daphne.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, as Dolores or Francis said, I'm happy to be on, trying to learn a little bit more about family. Like you, I got most of my information from Dolores. She and Ezel are kind of our family genealogists, and they've just hooked all of us up and got us all going with our just researching our family and learning so much more, and it just spurs you on and makes you want to even learn more. Um, I was born native Californian, and part of the end of that migration when my parents moved out here from Texas. I think I emailed cousin Eddie to ask him about I saw the Prairie View shirt, and my mother was a graduate of Prairie View, and there, a lot of my on my mother's side are Moors, and so I'm really interested in,
Excuse me, cousin
yeah,
Eddie, cousin
cousin Eddie,
Eddie.
yeah, cousin Eddie. I saw that Prairie View right away. Yeah, so but
This is magic, isn't it, everyone? This is magic.
it
Go
it
ahead.
really it really is. So I'm just glad to be on here to meet everyone, and I know it can really be frustrating not knowing a lot about your family, and but again, thanks to Dolores, who just spearheaded everything, and she was kind of like our the way we all felt when we watched Roots. That's kind of how I felt with the things that Dolores taught us. So I'm just glad to be here, and this won't be the last time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And where do you live?
Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Okay, you're up there.
Yeah.
Okay, great, great.
I was raised in Northern California,
Okay.
East Palo Alto.
All right. I went to school up there.
But my family's from Texas. I graduated.
Yes.
I graduated from Prairie View in 1979.
All right.
Strange thing, but my wife was at Prairie View. Her maiden name is Moore.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Uh-oh. Okay.
yeah,
See,
and
that's the way it works.
they're from Texas.
Okay. What part?
They're East Texas, up in East Texas, not close to Texarkana.
Okay. Close to Texarkana. Okay.
It's
But
some town, it's towns up there. It's Atlanta, Texas,
okay.
Linden, Marietta. Those towns up
Hmm.
there. That's where her.
Yeah. Well, in those days too, those counties kind of all meshed together.
Yep,
It's like when I first did African DNA on my mother's side, and when it comes back in all the areas that you see Sierra Leone, all of them together because there were no dividing lines
right.
in those days. So it's the same. It was the same thing here.
And she went to Prairie View, and both her parents went to Prairie View.
Okay, see
So,
this. Yeah,
so
but I put up. Please invite me to your Zooms. I'd
it's
love
in
to
the chat.
keep connecting.
It's in the
Yeah,
chat.
and I emailed my email address. I sent it to you.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Well, thank you. Go ahead, Betty. My cousin Betty. up in Rapid City, South Dakota.
I'm Betty Swain. I'm originally from Texas. I live in Rapid City. My four grandparents are William Swain and Isabel Lempier. On my mother's side, it is William Russell and Lenny Egger, and they're all from Texas. And I am a DNA match with Jerry Moss.
She is she's one of my Caucasian DNA matches and has a wealth of uh, family history, and her and I have been collaborating. And one of her specialties on her research is find a grave, and she she uses that as one of her tools for connecting, family and her family research. But like it's 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 important that we connect to our DNA relatives. We are so much similar. We're there's only there's this pigment. Our pigment, there's a small percentage of that changes between our color. It's a color pigment. But other than that, we're all the same. God made us that way. And so to use our color as a to divide us is not right, because with DNA is bringing us together. So thank you, Betty. I want to share. We're going to go into the program portion. Francis, before you go, I want to show you this one, my tree, so you all can see this. And Daphne, you'll be able to see a connection where I'm going to show you where I'm at in the connection. So can you all see this tree?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. On the tree, let me make it a little bigger. Here we are. Here I am. And this is my father's side up here. His name is David Moss, and he married the Burnell right here. That's my grandmother, Ethel Burnell. And as Francis was saying, we have a common. There's two of these Isham Burnell Jr. and then Isham Burnell Sr. There's two of them. And so we're at, and you, Daphne, you can see, here's where Eugenia Ethel Burnell, here's where our connection is, right?
Right.
Within these two right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I look on my tree, on my matches, if I can get it to come up. And I'm gonna go by parent. And I'm gonna go by the Mosses. Mosses and the Burnells. And you've taken the test, haven't you?
Yes.
Where are you at? I'm gonna search for you real quick on this one. How do you spell your name? Last name?
Last name is Hughes, Hughes.
Who's right there?
Hyphen. Yeah, that's my maiden name. That was my. So if you put, I don't know if it would be under Hughes Glass.
If you put in Hughes, you should
There,
see.
yeah, right there.
There you are.
Yeah, it's right here. Yeah.
here you are,
Right.
and you match me 74 centimorgans, and we have a common ancestor. And so there you are.
Mhm.
And I'm going to look at this common ancestor. Who is the common ancestor?
Burnell.
Isham Senior.
Yeah.
I want to click on it, see if it. But anyway, you're 74 centimorgans. Here we are right here.
Okay. Right.
And definite cousin, 74 centimorgans across 4 segments. Whenever you have more than one segments, you're related. You know, there you are.
Right.
And
What's the CM stand for?
those
I
are
don't understand what
measurements.
that is.
That's your DNA measurements. Each one of us have 7,000 centimorgans. That's our DNA measurement. 7,000.
Okay.
Our kids have half of ours. They inherit half of it. So their centimorgans are 3,500. And our grandkids are half of that. They're like 1,700.
Okay.
And so, I'll show you an example of that. But here you are. You match. I had this pretty big. I'll take it down a little bit. 100. These are your match. You match my daughter, Bridget,
Mm-hmm.
and them, and my niece, and I say who they are, and then I'll go down a little
Right.
I'll go down a little further, and here you are over on this side. This is called Pro Tools. And so these are my matches, and I put you in different groups. That's why I know what side of the family you're on. And okay,
Wow.
and see, my daughter is 34. Remember, I said I'm 7,000,
Right.
and my daughter is 3,400, and then my grandson is half of that. But these are all my relatives who I know, my nieces and all. I want to show you some over here.
That's amazing.
It is, isn't it? And see, this is like triangulating. And here's Evelyn Burnell.
Evelyn Burnett.
Yeah,
My
there
cousin.
she is. And here's one. Here's
Second.
Frances. See,
Right.
Frances, you
It
match.
was managed by her. Yeah.
Yeah, Evelyn Burnell, that's Perry Burnell. He's a descendant of Isham too.
Right. Because
They live, they
I
live in
get
Santa Anita, Santa Anna.
yeah,
And
because
Oh.
I gave you Perry Burnell's
yeah,
name so you can have him in your as a test.
and Evelyn is his sister.
Right. Because Excel asked me, hey, Jerry, do you have any other Burnell
Yeah.
family members? And I said, yes, male. He wanted some males.
Yeah.
And I called cousin Perry and asked him, would he take a test? And he agreed. And one thing that Ezel does, and I think Francis has some too, but I learned from him.
Hey, Jerry.
Everywhere he goes, he has these. He has see all these. He has tests.
Kids.
He has kits. So when I go places, I have kits,
That's
and
what.
there they are. There's just some of them. I don't know if it's
Hey, Jerry.
yeah.
How am I related to you on the Burrell side?
I'll have to go into more detail once I take a look at it, but that's where when I've had your name, Larry, I did some comparison, and you were in that branch.
Okay, we'll have to discuss
Yes.
later that. Okay.
Hey,
And so
Jerry, I have a question.
go ahead.
Where do you get those tools from?
Which tools?
The tools that you're showing us?
Pro Tools?
Yeah.
You have to pay for it.
Okay.
You have to pay
Can
you have to pay a few more. I think $10 more a month for those.
okay.
And look what it does, Stephanie. Daphne.
Mhm.
You see how you have these comparisons?
Yes.
Here's a BC. Here's this BC. There's 257 centimorgans.
He's also that's Coppage. He lives down in Atlanta. His great grandfather is Edward Burnell. He's one of on my branch of the Burnell's family.
Okay.
That's his name is Harvey Coppage.
Yep. Here he
There
is right
he is.
here.
Yeah,
Here he
that's
is.
Harvey.
Yep.
Okay. Because he's a second cousin.
Yeah, yeah. That
Wow.
Ed Burnell had a lot of kids.
Yep.
And so, Francis, when you asked me about this this Pro Tools, I can go through here and I can. You see these numbers over the side. I This Jeremy matches me 41, but look at this. He matches Daphne 114 more.
Wow.
So
And this is on GEDmatch or is this on Ancestry?
this is on Ancestry.
Ancestry. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And so
Okay.
that's how you can find more of your more of your connections.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so
That is.
I just want to share that with you. Those are some of the tools. Those are some of the tools that
Thank you for that.
we use those tools to help individuals who don't have them.
Yes. It's
And
amazing.
and when I pulled it up, look what Francis said. Both Francis, but like Francis Haywood and Daphne, you saw our connections. First, I pulled up the tree, and then I saw the common ancestor, and so that's how we connect. And so that's why it's important for us to share our ancestors. And those slaveholders, they had no idea that we would be sitting here in different cities in DNA relatives talking to each other. This is priceless.
Yes, it is.
And so that's why I do this, is to teach, and it's up to you to learn. But if I don't uh, teach, if I don't teach what I know, because it was given to me, I would be remiss. I wouldn't be serving my ancestors properly. So
And so much of the um what do they call that when they come around the census? So much
yes,
of that information was incorrect. Like my cousin is also doing it on our side of the family together, and in our family, nobody knew our great grandmother's name because all the people that knew it have since passed. And so it took us some time to figure out, what was her name, right? And so in the census records, they had her as Nanny Lemons. And I was like, her name's not Nanny for sure. Because my grandmother was called Nanny, and that was her daughter. And so I said, I have my grandmother's name, but in a different order. And so we looked and looked, and we found out her name was Matilda.
Hmm.
And in this picture, it looks like maybe they used to take pictures a long time ago for the census. It's the one on my Facebook, Jerry.
yes.
There's some cousins in that picture, but they were counted as children, right? Because they were there in the house at the time. And so a lot of the information, sometimes the information's not correct, but you have to look further into the details to find out. Like my grandfather is just S.R. Hickman, but his name was Sharper. I don't know what his middle name was, but um, that's how he's listed S.R. instead of his full name.
Well, just to hear you talk, look at your growth from where you were when you
Yeah,
first from when you
right.
first started, and you speak with confidence. You speak
Yes.
with knowledge that you've learned, and that you do want to you do want to verify your records. You know,
Right.
before at one time, that's all we had was written work, written records.
Right.
But now we have other tools, and I'll share this with you
Right.
because we're going to go into the agenda. I'll share this with you. How many of you look at Lewis Gates' Finding Your Roots?
I seen it one time.
Have you seen? How many of you have actually seen Finding Your Roots with Lewis Gates? It comes on Tuesday evenings.
Yes, and I tape it.
I've watched it a few times, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Well, here we are, family members working with our resources, paying what we can afford. Everybody doesn't have the resources. So what we do is we share our resources because heck, there's some things that I signed up for a couple of years ago. These different programs and my zeal to have as many tools as necessary that I'm retrenching. I'm coming back on and saying, wait a minute, I gotta stay within my lane, my, my financial lane. But Lewis Gates, what he does, he goes through like you did, Francis. He followed that paper trail as far as he could go through the paper trail. And then you know what he says? He sits down there all confident. Well, now let's go to the genetics. Let's go to genetics. So he has a whole team of people,
Yeah.
a whole team of people, professionals that he deals with genetics. And then they go into these big libraries and they have these big books. And man, when they get through doing their research, they're documenting the boats that these folks have came over on, and the immigration patterns. And then at the end of his show, he gives them, here, I'm giving you your book of life. He gives a black book that has the book of life on each one of these individuals.
You know, in East Texas, there's a library where they have a lot of DNA information. My one of my dad's first cousins was telling me when I was there in East Caney that there's a library, and she would go and add a lot of the information that she knew. So she was like, you know, from say my great grandfather on my father's side, she was like second generation. So a lot of the information that she knew about our family is there in East Caney. And I'm sure, you know, in libraries there could be other information too about families. Maybe if you go to the city or whatever it is, it might be there about your family, you know, and
Well,
you can get that online too.
well, what we use, one of the tools that we use, because I'm a member of a San Diego African American Genealogy
Very nice.
Association, and we have meetings at the the Latter Day Saints, the
Exactly.
Mormons.
Yeah.
They in different cities, and they have libraries. They're called family history libraries, and they have resources there that ancestry.com they gets their information from, family search gets their information from, and these folks are very, very helpful. So if you have one of those Latter Day Saints churches, and they have family history libraries, they are an excellent source to go and get your information, and they will actually help you. They'll copy they'll copy they let you use the conference rooms. They'll copy your pictures, and you can if you there's documents if they find documents that you'll pay a nominal minimum price for copies. So people are coming together. You just, there's a lot of information out there. So, any questions before we go further? I'd like to hear it. What have you gleaned from the information so far? Because I'm gonna go right into find the grave next, the agenda. I'm gonna keep it moving. But any questions, any comments on what you've seen so far?
I like the new tools that you're using, the Pro Tools, and the information, because the Mormon Church does hold a lot of the records, for ancestors, and a lot of them were slave owners, right? So I think that's good information to know. I didn't know that either when I first started out.
Well, they are very helpful. As a matter of fact, that's when Lewis Gates talks about when he goes and talks to his genealogist, I can go to that library instead of using my electricity and you know the, sitting in my office. I can go to theirs, and they have computer labs, and they have individuals who know about the records, and they'll help you with your research. So that's a tool that if it's in your area, please go. All right, we're going to go into the agenda. The first item is find a grave. And the last meeting I had discussed find a grave and how it was very helpful. And it's a tool that can help you reconnect your families and find family members. We always we look for the living, but there's a lot of information for our ancestors who have passed on. And some people, they fear the cemetery, but we each have a reservation without cancellation to the cemetery. So I'm gonna share my screen on Find a Grave. Can you see this? This Find a Grave this is on my grandfather David Moss. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Okay. What happened is, a few months ago, I I was finding, I was searching for where my my father's father was buried. I heard the story and I knew where, but cemeteries change and they change names, they don't change locations, quote unquote, unless it's something intimate domain. But anyway, I looked at his memorial. Somebody had went there and they had took pictures of my grandfather's memorial, but the information about him was wrong. They had the right person, but they had the wrong information about him. And so that got my attention. And my dear cousin Betty helped me straighten it out because that's her expertise. And I want to show you what we changed. And there's one other item that I have to change, and she's going to walk me through it. Because I'm sharing my screen, and she's going to help me talk me through it, so I can teach you what I've added to my grandfather's memorial, And it gives me a sense of pride and being thankful that I was able to do that. So if somebody else pulls up my grandfather's memorial, there's some items that I added to it that weren't there. Okay, Betty, you ready?
Yes, sir. Let's rock and roll.
All right, let's go. What do you want me? What you want me to do next?
Okay. You see, Jerry has added some records to it, which you can do. You just go to Ancestry, you save them, and you go to find the grave and you copy them on there. But what we're going to do today with Jerry's is down at the bottom of the screen, we're going to go to the guy that is, let's do suggest edit. That'll be the fastest way.
Okay, well, Betty, let me tell them what I did first. Okay,
Okay.
when I first got this, uh, when I first got this memorial, it just had his marker right here. It just had that, but I had a picture of him. So look here, photo added by Jerry Moss. So I added that to his photo, and this is the one that was there, added by this Billy, uh, April 2010. That was what was there. But I added a picture of him. And also in the pictures, here's his picture, and I added uh, the application for his marker by my grandmother right there. And I added some more information over here, and I added the census to his memorial that wasn't there. So I just want to let you know now I feel more of a part of it. Things have been straightened out, the dates, the times, and who he is. And I had to request that. I had to let Find a Grave know this information is incorrect. I have verifiable information, and they agreed and they changed it. See, you can't, like you said, Francis. Some information is incorrect, and if we're in a position to change it, get politely ask. And if you need to be more persistent, do that. Okay, go ahead,
That's
Betty.
very good to know.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Betty.
Okay, so what we're going to do, this memorial is by somebody else. What we want to do is change it to Jerry. It is by Michael. So he's going to go
And,
in.
and do you see that right down here? Created by Michael. Can y'all see that? It's small right here. It's at the bottom. I got.
So what we would do,
Here it is right here. Created by Michael, October 30th, 2010. Go
so
ahead,
what we
baby.
want to do is contact Michael. So we're going to go up to the memorial, back to the memorial,
Okay.
and do suggest edit.
Yes. So just said it's right here.
Mm-hmm. Click
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Then you're going to scroll down.
Yes.
A little further. Contact manager. You're going to click that. And Jerry's going to type him a message.
And
He's going to tell.
I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna tell him who I am, and I would release release managing it to me. Correct.
Yes, sir.
I'll say reading Michael.
Michael, Michael.
There it is. Yeah. Okay. Michael.
Ael.
Want the caption? Yeah. Oh, A. And I'm gonna say it.
I would also ask Michael if he is related.
Okay.
And this is important because if Michael doesn't transfer, there's another step we can go through directly to find a grave. But Jerry has to have a copy of this email. If Michael doesn't release it, we'll go another route.
And then
Ask him if he's related. Yeah, that's got to
yeah,
be
that's
kind of.
faster.
There you go. Yeah, I see it now. Now, if he transfers to Jerry, Jerry will get an email. It will say find a grave. And when he clicks it and goes, it should take him right to this when it comes in your email. And then he will see up here, put send me a copy.
Okay.
You click it. Always click that so you have a record.
Okay. And on this, everyone, here's what I wrote. Greetings, Michael. I appreciate you managing my grandfather's memorial. Please accept my request for me to be the manager going forward. Are you related to my grandfather, David Moss? Thanks for what you have done for my family and me. Peace, Jerry Britt Mossy. And I'm going to send it. Right, Betty?
Right. Just send it. Now, and within a week or two, he should get a response. If he doesn't, then we're going to go right to find a grave to the main. The find a grave has a help at the bottom. We will go to it and we will send a copy of this email with his and then Jerry will put his grandfather's ID number on it, which is memorial ID right
Right here.
there. And if he doesn't hear from him in a week, we'll put that number on it and we'll go directly to find a grave help. And then find a grave should, with his copy, go ahead and transfer because he is blood kin.
Thank you, Betty.
You're welcome.
That's great.
Does anyone have any questions on that?
Yeah, Jerry, I did have a question.
Go ahead.
You mentioned about, I think it was Betty that said something about Ancestry. So is Find a Grave a separate website And you can locate it through Ancestry. Is that
Find a Grave
correct or
is
not?
Find a Grave is a separate website, and it is free. You have to join to be able to edit a grave or to request a grave. Jerry, go to your Find a Grave profile.
Yeah, I did see that on the top. That's why I was asking, but somebody said Ancestry. And so I
Well,
think on Ancestry, you can also locate a grave.
right. So what happens when
Okay.
Find a Grave comes up on Ancestry as a
Mhm.
hint? You can click it, you can pull it up, click the link, and it'll take you right to Find a Grave. And from there, you can add the tombstones to your Ancestry, any information they have, and that is for free to merge it into your Ancestry. Down here, it says Save To on David Moss.
Right.
Hit that Save To button,
Mhm.
Jerry.
So you asked me about my profile. What do you want me to do with the? You want to
Well,
see my
let's
profile?
show her this right here, where she can save it to Ancestry.
Okay.
Ancestry,
Oh.
and then beside it is a virtual cemetery. Now I have virtual cemeteries, which I actually add my family to my personal virtual cemetery. So if anyone goes to my profile, they can pull up all of my family that I have added to a virtual cemetery. But the Ancestry right there will connect you.
Okay, what about my
Okay.
profile, Betty?
Okay, go to your profile up there
Where
where it
at?
says Jerry Moss. Click
Uh-huh.
the down arrow button.
The
Go to
profile.
now.
Okay.
Right here on this, if Jerry gets any email or anything, it's going to show up. Like, see, he's got a virtual cemetery started that anyone that goes to his profile can click that and see what he has in it. He's got some favorite cemeteries down here that has been marked because that's where his family is. That way, if you pull up your profile, you hit any of those cemeteries, it'll take you directly to them and you can search them. And a lot of times that helps because you may have other family members in there that you do not know about.
Mm.
But on his profile, he will get that pencil up there. Is when he has someone that sends him an edit or something, it'll be under that pencil. If someone comes across something that he has that they think is different, that pencil right there, it'll come up there. And
And
this is where
these are some of my that I have located and where they located at my ancestors
right.
and where they're buried at. So
I have a question.
go ahead.
What about cremation?
I suggest that anybody has any family members that is cremated, that they add them to Find a Grave.
Okay.
Because some of the funeral homes are now beginning to add them, but a lot of them are not added. And with cremation, all you need is a birth certificate, a census, um, a draft card, anything that gives their date of birth or who their parents are. You can add that and you can use that as your reference as to adding them. Plus, you can add pictures. You can add their other family members. You can connect them with Find a Grave to where their parents are buried. And if their parents aren't on there, there in turn, you have him, then you can add his parents.
Very good. Thank you, guys.
Okay. I see
Yes,
the
thank you.
I see the Carla came in. Hi, Carla. And I see Reggie double R. He came in. So again, searching our ancestors' death records can bring life to new unknown DNA relatives. All right, our next item is GEDmatch. GEDmatch research platform will be explained. We will be comparing different GEDmatch kit numbers to discover shared DNA matches. I have GEDmatch right here. How many of you are familiar with GEDmatch?
I am, but I had
I
trouble getting my number.
You said what?
I had some trouble adding my number and
Okay.
getting it started up.
Well, just to give you, oh wow. See, cousin Frances, she's on here. She has a lot of matches, and when I conduct comparisons with different people from different formats, and they give me their GEDmatch kit numbers, her name comes up, Excel's number comes up. Then I know what branch that I'm related to that person with. GEDmatch is a let me go right here because I want to be clear on this. GEDmatch is like an Amazon DNA warehouse. An Amazon DNA warehouse. There are a number of different test uh, test sites. MyHeritage, 23andMe. Um, what's some other? What's another search? There's like about 7 of them, and I'm not paying for all these, having my DNA on all these different formats. But what happens is some of them are free too. You can trade them back and forth. So what happens is uh, if somebody from 23andMe took that test and they're a close relative of mine, and I took Ancestry, I'll probably never know who that person is because they're not in the database. So what happens is you have to decide, do you want to add your DNA up to this Ancestry DNA warehouse? That person in 23andMe, that cousin of mine, has to decide on their own, do they want to put their DNA up on that Ancestry DNA platform? And then what happens from these different sites, then you're able to find more cousins, more relatives. Now, there is there are some privacy issues that you have to consider before you do that. You have to make a determination that when you upload that to that platform, you can state whether you want your information to be shared by the law enforcement or not. A story is, in California, we had the Golden State Killer, and back when he had this reign of terror on California, it was in the 70s. And 15 years later, one of his relatives took a DNA test and uploaded it on GEDmatch. So the detectives they had DNA from the scene of the. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Eddie. Eddie has to leave. So anybody who wants to, see him, he had to leave, and we can talk to him, to help you with the research. But what happens is what they did is there was like a fourth cousin of this California uh, Golden Gate Killer who had his DNA up on GEDmatch. And what they did, they triangulated and got all the way down to a person who they thought might have been the Golden State Killer. And what they did is they surveyed him. He went in the coffee shop. When he came out of the coffee shop, he dumped his coffee in the trash, and the detectives picked it up. And they took that to the lab, and it matched the DNA evidence from the crime scene. And that's how the Golden State Killer was caught, through DNA.
And also, he was law enforcement. He was a police officer.
He sure was. So now, don't go, when you upload your information to GEDmatch, don't go up there and send these blanket multiple texts to 4 or 5 people you match up there. Be more strategic, more personal. If somebody matches you, contact them one-on-one and to see how you related to them. That's all I'm saying. Be a little bit more private about how you interact with people on that platform. So here's an example. Can you see my GEDmatch here? Can you see it? GEDmatch? Over
Yes.
here?
Yeah, we
Okay.
see it.
Okay, here's what happened. I uploaded mine, and different people uploaded theirs. And so here's how I can see how they match. And remember, somebody was asking me about the Central Morgans. Remember, I'm at 7,000. My kids are at 3,500, the half, and my grandkids are 1,700. That's half of my kids. So it breaks down in half. But Central Morgans are how you measure how close you are related to individuals. The higher the number, the closer you are related. So on this one, here's the GEDmatch, and what you get is you get a kit. And so this is my kit number right here, FE9 687385. So what I wanted to do, here's the original version. I'm gonna see how many people on GEDmatch match me. So what I do, I go right over here to the one to many original. I'll click on that. There you go. Okay, continue. They got these loose features and stuff. Let's do this again. Original. Okay, I'm gonna put my kit number in. There it is. Can you see my kit number?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna display one to many DNA comparison. It's gonna compare me to whoever else uploaded theirs. Remember, we're going into the Amazon DNA warehouse, and I'm gonna see who matches me from 23andMe, from MyHeritage, and all these other testing companies who decided to upload their information to this Amazon DNA. Here's display my results. Here we go. Now, here's my matches.
Jerry, that's me, F.O. Haywood at SBC Global. And that's Ezel, E-Z-E, Gmail.
That's true.
That's me. That's Ezel. Tahara Mashan is a Burnell cousin, lives in San Diego.
Yes, she is. And remember we're talking about the central organs. I'm gonna move this over. They start at the top now. This D D Moss, that's my grandson, Delon Moss. And see, he matches me 1900 centimorgans. So this is my daughter's son, Delon. I manage his, but there it is. He's and he, so that's my grandson. And look, he was on we did his test on ancestry. But look at these other people. This is my heritage, family tree DNA, 23 and me over here. And then look at these names of the people who, like just what Francis said.
Yeah, I see mine.
This is the kit numbers over on the left. And here's the emails on how you get in contact with them. And remember, I told the story that I gave my cousin Perry the DNA. Francis gave him the test. And that's why she's managing his account. And there he is. And he's 203. But Francis, who's on the line now, that's her email. And so that's the value of having GEDmatch. Now I could compare numbers too. I can take my kit number and another person's kit number, and then I can see who we match. And that's how you can tell the different cousins, who do you match and what branch you match the other cousins. But I just want to give you an example. And notice the ones that are at the top are the highest. Look, Delon's 1900. The Perry is 200 centimorgans, and it goes lower, 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 100, 100, 100. But these are sure enough cousins. When you got 100 centimorgans, these are DNA cousins. 95 as it goes down, and you can see look how many that Francis is. She manages a lot of them. And Exel, she mentioned here. Look how many he manages stuff. So I just wanted to share that GEDmatch program, with you. Do you have any questions on that? What did you learn about the GEDmatch platform? Anyone? Or what I showed you? Did you see how we compare different kit numbers to show who our matches are and the value of a GEDmatch?
How do you get your kit number?
You get a you go to the GEDmatch platform and you sign up for it, your name and the email, and you upload your raw data from Ancestry up to that platform, and it's free. And then it'll process it. It'll take a little while to process. Some of it is you can get it won't be no more than a day. And then because it has to compare your data to like about 15 million other people's data. And then it'll come up with this list that you just saw. And it's free. So, we have raw data that we can upload our data to other sites too. Our raw DNA, you can upload it to other sites. Did that answer your question, Larry?
Yeah, basically. Thanks.
Anyone else about GEDmatch? It's a powerful tool, very powerful tool. And that being said, Francis, thanks, Francis. have a great day. She has to go. She stayed for a long time. Thanks, Francis. So that's the GEDmatch. Now let's take a quick look at Pro Tools. And the way I do that, Pro Tools. Francis, she's Pro Tools. Where is it?
Jerry, did you have a meeting for me? A question for me? I was just leaving.
No, I was thanking you for your participation. Thank you so much, cuz.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, this is my mentor, Francis.
No, quit saying that. No, you're my mentor now. Thank you. Nice seeing everybody.
Thanks,
Hi,
cuz.
cousin.
Okay, Pro Tools. Okay. Here's my matches. This is what Pro Tools. This is the value of Pro Tools. First of all, I went up and I did my DNA matches. Can you see my matches?
No.
Okay, then let me pull them up real quick. Can you see them?
Yes.
Okay. Remember I said, okay, remember what I said? Here's my matches. Over here it says all your matches. So all my matches that are in Ancestry DNA, here's my matches. And so uh, I recommend that you give your family members test or ask them to take a test. And you get more bang from your bet for your buck out of the older relatives to take the test because their DNA reaches back further than our ancestors. But either way, test your family. Have you a family DNA kit? And when you do that, then other people, when you have your DNA kits for your family members, then when other people are searching for their families, if they match you, you can really verify that you're members, that you're DNA relatives. And I had to use some positive persuasion with my children and my brothers and nephews, in a sense, mainly the men, to take the test because it's going to help us. It's going to help. It's going to help people who don't know who they are. And I'm sitting here. Imagine I have the information of who your family are, who the family are, and you reaching out to me. You're close, but you can't verify it. But you got the DNA. Remember, God is the source. I am the messenger. So I have to use discernment. I just can't just go pick out any of my relatives that you match because you match me. I'm not, my brothers, my sisters. It's also your sisters too. That these younger people are reaching out to see who they're related to. So you have to use some discernment. And I would tell some of these younger people who are related to me family wise, go back and talk to your mother. Do a little bit more research, and then come back and give me some names. And when they do that, then I can approach one of my siblings and have a discussion. But here it is. These are my matches. Here's my son Jerry. Look at him. He's 3,400. Donnell, he's my son. 3,400. My daughter Bridget, 3,400. My brother, he's 2,600. And my granddaughter, she's 1900, and Delon, here he is, Delon, he's about 1900. And so you can see what I'm talking about. They're the centromorgans. And so when you see these numbers, this is what they say who they are. And I even go more detail. I can pick, I tell if somebody you saw a destiny, that my granddaughter, I tell, there it is, destiny. I put a note on there. I tell them who it is. Destiny Gooden is Jerry Brent Moss Sr.'s granddaughter. Her father is my first son, named Donnell Gooden. So I help, because we have different names, but they come from God, and they come through me. So I let people know who they are and how they related to me. So, 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 can you see? So there's those are my matches, and I also put them in groups. See, M and F, my mother's side and father's side, and then some of them are just on my father's side, these relatives, and some of them are on my mother's side. So that's all. And now the Pro Tools, it also, you can, by parent, look at this. For those who don't know what side of the family that these people are related on, look at this, by parent. Can you see this? Can y'all see this? By parent. Let me go get it.
Yes.
Okay. So on my father's side, it not only gives, I have like 9,000 matches, but it has a surname, last names, and trees, different kind of trees. So when I'm reaching out, sending a message, I tell them I'm asking the Burnells, the Jacksons, the Joes, and the Mosses. And then here's the matches. I pick right here, and I'll see where all my matches are on my father's side. Ancestors already telling you what side of the family they're on. At one time, they didn't do that. Now they're telling you what side of the family you're on. These matches. How helpful is that? So that's my father's side. Then here's my mother's side of the family. And these are my, remember, elephant, gray, Gildon, there they are. Now, and then it also tells you who's related on both sides. There's 25 matches right there. They're related on both sides of my family. So they're close relatives of mine. And these are unassigned matches over here. Now watch this too. So that's those two by parent. Now, and then there's one by ancestors. See, they already got this compiled because they have a lot of records from other people. Look at this one by ancestors. This is called True Lines. Can you see these pictures? Can you see these pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, this is my father, and this is my mother, Kenneth and Lois. And remember, I told you about my four grandparents? That's one thing that, can you name your four grandparents? Here they are. David Moss, Ethel Burnell, John Henry Gildon, and Minnie Lee Kirksey Gildon. And then these are my great grandparents over here. Here's where that Isham Burnell is. So for Isham Burnell, look at that. It says 17 matches between 28 centimorgans and 3,400. So I'll pick right here. And look what this line does. My grandmother, Ethel Burnell, her brother was named Godfrey Burnell. So here he is. So and there's four matches. So let me click on that and look at them. There's four of them right there. And see that they lay them out right out to who they are and how they're connected. You see that? Isn't that helpful? Doesn't that take it out of the research out of it? So there that one is. And let's go over on the other side. Uh, Here's Perry Burnell. There's 4 matches. And here they are over here. Kim, that's Percy, and here's Venus Burnell. Here they are. 40, 40. And it shows you how you actually related to it by your ancestor. So that's through lines. Now, that's my ancestors. Now look at this other one. And each of you have this, if you have an ancestor program, here's one that I use that you haven't used before. Look at this, by location, by the map. You click on that one. And look at here. Look at this. There's a map of the world, and I have people who match me over here in Africa, up here, just in England, up in that area, across the Great Pond, and then look at the United States. Can you see this map? You see the map?
Yes.
Okay. So in Texas, it actually has, like, there's 3 people in Oklahoma. I go in here a little closer, right around Oklahoma City. There's 2 people. You click on that, it'll tell you who the names are. See that? Some Pickens. She's in Oklahoma City. Christopher Tate. He's there. I live in Canada. Uh-oh. This back.
You got in Arkansas.
Yeah, okay, I'll go right over there. But here's I didn't know I had this relative in San Diego. And here she is right here. And when I looked at her, look, she's 43 centimorgans across 3 segments. So I reached out and called her, and her family is from Omaha. So their kids, but just by this map, I was able to contact her, and then she told me who her relatives were. And they're from where I was born and raised at.
Did she have any information, Jerry?
Pardon me?
Did she have any information when you?
Yeah. She told me she told me who her family was, who her daddy was, and who her mother was, and I know them because I was raised with them.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how. Okay, what about Arkansas?
Oh, you had 7 in Arkansas?
Where they at? Here they are over here. Okay. Oh. So here's Little Rock over to Little Rock over on this side. Southwest. There's 5 of them.
Okay.
And here are their names.
Let me see.
Oh, let me see. James Sullivan, Alvin King, Tyrone Edwards, Jessica Williams, and Slow Jack, 1978. There they are. And here's 2 up here.
Okay. Bill Hall and Colleen Noose.
Yep.
Okay.
So there they are.
Oh, Pine Bluff, a Pinkins.
Uh-huh.
Are you familiar with anybody in the Arkansas group?
In the Arkansas group?
Uh-huh.
That's part of my family's here's where most of ours are from. This person.
Hamden one, that's Olivet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank you.
I'm not gonna lay down.
Yeah, so there's the map, and you can find wherever you're at. Like you're in Vegas. Where's Vegas? Here's one. I have three relatives in Vegas. Here's one. Jason Hendricks, Haddix, and there's two over here. Lewis Young and Yasin. There's two there. So I was just letting you know that these are tools that are available to you to find the pro tools, to find your relatives. Now, one other thing I want to show you on the pro tools. What I do when I turn on my computer.
No, go it down.
I go to home. You know, we all know where our homepage is on Ancestry. Ancestry, can you see my Ancestry homepage?
Nope, you're not sharing.
Okay, well, let me go get it. Here. There it is. You see it now?
Yes.
Okay. What I do is I look at the information they have, and you're all familiar with that. And then I'll come down looking through, they help you with different information, potential ancestors. And then here's what they say. Jerry Moss's new DNA matches. So you see these names? There they all are right there. And I can go over a little further. And these are some people who are recently have gotten into Ancestry, or they come up, they're recent DNA matches to me. So I know they're matches. So I have to figure out how are they matches. And then here's another one, Madison. But here's one that's a cousin. See, Deidre Franklin. So I'll click on her. That means she's closer. So she's 28 centimorgans across one segment. So what I do with her, first of all, can you see her?
Yes.
Her and me. I'll look at where she's from. She was last active yesterday, and she's been on here since 2013. So what I'll do is she's from Nigeria. I do a shared match with her right here. Look at her. She matches my daughter. Right here, Bridget, because my daughter is 3,400 centimorgans. Remember, that's close. And my half brother, he's 3,500. But look what she matches. She matches 36. She matches, and then these are the other people. There's three people involved. There's me, my matches who matches her, and Deandra. What's her name? Deidre. And so as you come down, this is where the Pro Tool comes in. There's 30 centimorgans. And then it gets smaller as it comes down. And I can see what side of the family she's on. See? And that's the F too. That's my father's side because I group my matches. But as you go through, sometimes you come up with some whopper numbers over on this here other side. And you can help that person if they reach out to you. There's only 22, 21, 37. But this person has about 8 people. I'm looking for some bigger numbers on their side. Sometimes, like, well, here's one that's 96, but they only match me 28, Kevin Lyles. But this person, Deidre, she might not know this person. And I can tell her, look, you match this person. You match 96 centimorgans. And that's the power of this Pro Tools. And there's people who they find a mother and father just by the matches, or brothers and sisters by the numbers that show up in the matches. As you go over, the mines gets lower. So that's the value of Pro Tools. So that is any questions on the Pro Tools? What for those who hadn't seen those, what did you learn from that exercise there on how I actually go out and start reaching out? And those relatives, those are the ones that I send my reach out reach out bait message. And I show you that because and I sent one to her. Now, and I recommend that each one of you, if you want to find out more about who your relatives are, tell your story and then send it to these DNA matches that you just saw. And they might match you low numbers, but they got a mother or they have a grandmother. And if you contact them and tell them who you are, they will most likely tell you who they are. And that's how you build your relationship. Here's what I had. I had this set up. I tell them who I am, uh, and I tell them what my name is, where I live, how long I've been in San Diego, my age, and do you want to help us figure out how we are related? And tell them about myself, where I was born in Nebraska. I tell them about the Moss and Burnell families originated from Nevada County, and I go through some details on that. And I let them know I'm a founder of this here group, the Moss Gildon Genealogy Resource Group. I talk about that and the dates. And you can join our meetings by computer, give them some information that they, the computer, the phone, and let me know if you want me to host a private meeting. And what I do is, this is my reach out bait message, and I send. Yeah, go right ahead. Whoever has to leave, go right ahead. What I do is I take it. I go up here and I copy it. I go like this, and I copy it. And then on my home page.
Jerry, would you share your screen on
Yeah,
that?
I will. I get the moving. Is this it? You see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
No.
There it is. See it now?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go down to these new matches and just say like Aaron L, click on him.
Mhm.
And he's 8 Central Morgan. I'll look and see who he is. He's January. He's from Nigeria. He's 8. So what? He's not much. But he's still a DNA relative. And what I'll do is I'll send a message. You remember that my reach out text message, my bait message? It's like a big ocean. I'm sending it out to the ocean, and I'll go right here and paste it. And there's my message, and I'll just change the name, Aaron, Aaro, and I'll send that. And so now he has the message. And now I've sent that to that new DNA relative. He is a DNA relative. And then it goes out into the ocean. It goes out there, just sits out there. And then somebody's going to look at it. That person's going to look at it. And they're going to make a decision. Do they want to bite that message or not? And if they do, it's up for me to be able to hook them. It could be a small fish or it could be a whale.
Mm-hmm.
And then even though you hook them, you still got to bring them in. And with the way they come back in, they respond back to me on my messages. and they give me their contact information, their numbers, and their email, and they tell their story. And then that's how we build our relationships. So every day, whenever I turn this on, I am searching. I'm fishing. That's one of the things that I do. I do fish. But this time, I'm fishing for family members. I'm fishing for DNA relatives. I'm using this program to do it. And I know that person is a relative of mine. If he's matching me eight, Sister Morgan, his mother matches me 16. His grandmother matches me 32. You see what I mean? So a lot of times when the youngsters get it, they say, um, I'll talk to my mother, or I'll talk to my father, I'll talk to my grandmother. And then they'll say, hey, I know some Mosses that are in Arkansas. I'll call and contact them. And then bingo. Or I know somebody who's my mother's side in Texas, oil country. Don't let me start talking about my mother's side. That's oil country in Texas. Lockhart, Luling, bunch of oil wells down there. But I did want to share that with you, so you can see how you can create your own family, DNA family. And I'll share this with you too. By using that method over let's say over 2 years. I've been using it for longer, but over 2 years, I have over 200 DNA matches that have responded back to me, that I have built a relationship with. But it took me reaching out. Now, sometimes they reach out to you, but if you reach out to them, if you're constantly fishing and you're putting your information out there, if it's good research, bait, and documents, if you're truthful about yourself and you put it out there, believe me, you have matches. You saw that. 9,000 matches on my father's side, 9,000 matches on my mother's side. Come on now. Some of your first cousins, some of your first friends that I had were my cousins. And now, at this season time in my life, some of my last friends are my cousins, my DNA cousins. And I'm thankful for that.
Got a question, Jerry.
Go ahead.
Do you get a lot of adopted, like, they match, but they don't know anything?
Of
So,
course.
yeah, how do you refer back to them? Because they don't know. And we seem to get Margaret and I, that's my friend Margaret Moss from Little Rock.
Yeah, I met her.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, we keep, matches and stuff, and they just don't know anything. They've been adopted when we ask questions.
That's right. Well, I think you heard a little bit about that. You share with them what you can verify.
Mm-hmm.
And when they match you, there's these four. Ancestry has these four names that are in a majority of the trees. Use those names along with some of your other names that you actually know when you reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Now again, I've seen them. They show up. There's some I don't know, and there's some that I want to know, but I'm not going to press it.
Right.
Because there's like Jesus says, the harvest is great and the laborers are few. So the ones who really want to know and that God allows me to help, I help. But I'm not going to go and the sensitive information. I'm not going to
Oh, yeah.
force myself on anyone. But if I can help someone, I help. I help them. And another thing too, some of my relatives, they didn't want to hear the truth. They said,
Oh,
"Hey, that happened. It was long gone."
that's
But
right.
I still I know that this young adult is a DNA relative of mine, and I and I match him. So I keep the door open. I don't close the door on them.
Mhm.
Not me. And so I, I, and I will let my siblings know, whichever one that I verify it is. I'll let them know what I found, and then we can go from there.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a number of people who have been adopted that didn't know their relatives, and now they have their family. They reconnected, and you just heard a story from Francis, and you hear some from Clarice, Reggie, my cousin Reggie.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, they there's some information that they didn't know. Good night, Margaret. Nice meeting you.
Good night.
Yeah, good night. Thank you. But like I said, God is the source, and we're the messengers. So we have to be uh, discreet. We still have to share the information because if it doesn't, if we don't, nobody will. And so you might take a couple of hits, but as long as you have your integrity intact and you have the truth and you help them, because we know ours, and some people that don't. Can you imagine how they feel that they don't know who they are, or who they're from? Can you empathize and put yourself in their shoes? Come on. And so that's my take on it. And so help them as much as you can. You might not find exact uh, uh, family, but you will find members of their family, and you'll find that there's some kind relatives that would love to meet them.
Mhm.
So build those bridges for those who want to. They might not never find the exact answer, but you have enough information for our research that we can help them.
Jerry, I usually share my DNA matches with them. That way, if some of them I don't know yet, but I'll share with them and give them the tree names so they can also look there. Because I have several of them that's been that way.
And Carla, how many people have you helped though that have been adopted? How many people have you helped?
Well, we just talk and and I just ask questions. I'm open and they're open, but they're just trying to find they don't know anything, um their father's side or their mother's side. So I mean, I have mine. So, and I've done Ancestry and 23andMe. So I find that a lot of people just want to know their makeup, not necessarily who their family is.
Or they don't know the ethnicity?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. I find that, and they don't, some of them don't communicate back, but some
Yeah.
of them, yeah, they have.
Well, you're gonna have that. Uh, this science is,
Yeah, it is science.
but but it, but the thing of it is, this is the tool that I use, and I recommend that you use to reconstruct your family
Hmm.
DNA. And
Yeah, and I tell them to upload to GEDmatch so that, the pool is bigger and maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I just gave some examples on that. Yeah, that'll help.
Yeah.
But but at least you're listening to, hear them out.
Yeah.
Listen to them.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are lost, and then we've let our ancestors pass on, and now we got a lot of questions.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of answers too.
Yeah.
Every day we live, and every day we do this. Just on this journey,
Oh, yeah.
they're revealing more to us.
Well, I
So
appreciate it. I mean, yeah, I like this. I like the search, the family, receiving new family. And because of migration, um, I found a distant ancestor that had moved up to Michigan, and I never knew that my great grandmother had I guess it was a sister to move up to Michigan, married at 70 something. So then, there's a whole new family up there.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And then when you said you were born in where, Jerry? What state?
Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska,
Okay.
the
Omaha.
Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah, that was new. Oh, so yeah, sharing helps a lot too.
So I just wanted to share that information. We went over, pretty much of the agenda. And I
Yeah.
just wanted you to know the next time we have one, I'll go into more detail with. I'll share some verified records showing DNA matches of my formerly enslaved ancestors,
Okay.
the descendants, their cousins. Uh, Two generous Caucasian DNA cousins of mine, Lauren D. Moll and Thomas Lewis, gave me records identifying identifying the slaveholder of my Moss ancestors.
Wow.
Uh, their
What's
shared their shared records have helped me create a more accurate family tree. And we appreciate their help in breaking through brick walls and building
wow.
bridges for our future descendants.
Wow. Congratulations. I wish I could find that.
Have you ever seen anything like it? Records from one of your Caucasian cousins?
Uh,
Have you seen any records?
I have seen the records, but I haven't made
A
like,
contact?
yeah, because of the European ancestor.
Yeah, the white ones?
Yeah.
Hey, let me show you one.
Okay.
Buckle your seatbelt. All right. Here is see if I can get her name. Can you see this picture?
The Moll.
Yeah, Lauren.
Yeah. Lauren. Uh-huh.
Okay, there she is. And this is 2024. And here's what she said. I'm going to share this with you. For those who are still here, thank you for being here. She's a DNA relative, and she saw my tree,
Uh-huh.
and she reached out to me. I was just minding my own business, doing my research,
Mm-hmm.
and this DNA Caucasian cousin of mine reached out to me because she said, "I see that you're that you're a descendant of a person who I can identify as being on my ancestors, being enslaved by my ancestors.
Okay.
And I just wanted to meet with you because I can share some more information with you, even though I couldn't do anything about what happened. I just want to help you,
And that's all we expect.
re, help you reconstruct your
Right.
family. So look at this. She said, "Sorry, it's taking me so long to get back to you. I am a bit of a perfectionist, so it's hard for me to show my work to people when I don't consider it done. I watched the Zoom meeting you had with Tommy Lewis with interest. Tommy is another one of my Caucasian DNA relatives who reached out to me, who matches me. And I had a meeting with him, so Lauren looked at that meeting. And she looked at that meeting with interest. His research seems pretty solid, and I appreciate his openness to working with your group and to talking about the sticky issues that brings that it brings up. Interestingly, Tommy does not turn up as a DNA match to me on Ancestry anyway, nor do you, probably because the identical segments we share are smaller than 6 centromorgans. They have different sections. If you go to a little lower, it would show. Okay, I'm sending you 2 documents at this time, both in text format. And I'm as PDFs in case you can't read the text ones. I separated them so you can have them open side by side for comparison. So please feel free to share both of these with your group. I would also welcome any corrections or additional information you have or are willing to provide. So one's called Moss Descendants, and it goes into Thomas and Peggy and the descendants of William and Martha. She has not verified all the people in the trees. Some may be incorrect in the wrong place, and the other one is a Moss DNA trail. Maybe you can fill in the blanks. I'd like to have more time to further research before having a meeting with your group. And she says, okay, I'd also like to share with you things like the locations of the plantations on which your ancestors were forced to work and biographical information about Thomas and J.C. Moss, who appears to be your ancestors too. Would it be okay to think about meeting sometime in June? I could send you some group information to absorb in advance. Then we can ask and answer questions at the meeting. I'm available to meet any day or time except I'm on the East Coast and tend to get tired and incoherent in the late afternoons and the evenings. You can let me know what will work for you. Listen at this nonsense. Thanks again for your welcome and willingness to work together. I can't fix what my ancestors did, but I'm hoping I can at least help shed some light on the history of all my cousins. So that's her. That's her story. Now, what I want to show you is one of these. I want to show you one of these here moss trails. Okay, but you haven't seen one, so I'm gonna share it. After a failed Bank of America heist.
And they migrated
they fired 1,100 plus rounds, wounding 20. Watch this. The other bled out. The
chaotic battle exposed to law enforcement's
Can you see
firepower
this?
Yes.
Hey, Reggie, I think I think somebody the iPhone is on.
after a failed apocalypse prophecy locked 500 plus followers.
No, that's not me. I'm on mute.
What do you think that is? The Zoom user.
Can you mute them? Jerry?
Let me try. It says Zoom user. Oh, they did. But look at this. Let me make it a little bigger. You see
LAPD officers after a failed Bank of America heist.
Nevada County.
Yeah, look at these. She says this is her DNA matches as of April 2024. Over 50 matches, and she talks about them. A 5 match. And my great grandfather, my second great grandfather is Reuben Moss, right here. So she has 5 matches with them. I don't know who's that iPhone. Oh, let me mute it. I think I got it. Okay. Make this big. But look at this. 6 matches who are probably descendants of Rufus and Ribbon, but lines I haven't seen yet. Almost all the descendants of Rufus and Reuben Moss are also DNA matches with some of each other, and with other descendants of J.C. Moss, black and white, who are also matches to me. So we definitely are related through the Moss family.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes in and calls out different names. This is DNA matches who are proven or descendants of Rufus Moss.
Uh-huh.
And here's the ones that are probable descendants of Reuben Moss. And that's my connection right here. And I know these people. I've had meetings with them, so I know all of them. And she even mentions the Central Morgans. You see, 14 Central Morgans with Joshua Davis. With Val, 15 Central Morgans, 9 Central Morgans. So this woman is matching these people. And Chauncey, here's one, 20 and 27 Central Morgans. She's matching them. And then so she came up with this chart and came back, talked about her fourth great grandfather, Thomas Moss. And she goes on to other people in the tree, and she talks about where Reuben Moss was born.
Right.
They were both living in Franklin County, Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama.
Though JC may have had his own place by then. JC Moss would have been about 28 when Reuben Moss was born. And I believe Reuben Moss was enslaved by JCC Moss in the 1850 slave schedule. And so she goes through. Reuben Moss reported in 1870 census that he was 27. You know, 1870 is where you start putting your names out.
Yeah.
So there he is. I want to acknowledge there is an aside the fact that a white slave owner, or most any white man in the 18th and 19th century in this country having sex with an enslaved woman should never be considered consensual. It may or not have been violent, but as long as any man in this position of power over any woman, there's no such thing as consensual sex. It is an assault.
Yes.
And so that's one of the records I wanted to share with you.
So they migrated from Alabama into Arkansas and then away.
Yeah, that was a trail. And This is the Moss descendants. It starts talking about here they are. It starts off with the mother and father. You see, it's a little bigger.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay. The purple people who were probably enslaved by Thomas Moss. Blue or green people who were probably enslaved by Jackson C. Moss. Jackson C. That's their son. In M, people identified in one or more Moss, Meeks, Atkins trees. DNA, people who are DNA matches to Lauren. So look, in this one, there's 39 DNA match descendants of Thomas Moll.
Wow.
So they had this family. Here he is. He was a reverend, and he married this Margie and Peggy. And so this is my he's my third great grandfather. Him. It's either him or his son, but it starts with him.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to start saying where I got my Moss name and on my tree, here's where I would start, because this is the most accurate information that matches the Mosses with DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So look at the details. So there's a first generation there, and it just comes all the way down, and then it starts different matches. Uh, there, Tommy Lewis, and how many Central Morgans, and Henry Moss, Reuben, and then here I am, Reuben T. Moss, and here's all the family members there.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my father, Kenneth Moss, and then they say Jerry Moss. DNA match to other Moss descendants, black and white. So, and here's my father in Omaha, Nebraska, and my mother. See, so she got all that information, and these are my cousins. I know all of these cousins. Mike McGee, Val, I've connected all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to, what I did is, I wanted to share those records with you to let you know that
Yeah,
I
the
have
connection they've been documented.
this document,
Yeah.
and I wanted you to see them. I
Well,
was going to
thank
go
you.
into details about it, but I want to. I did share with you some verifiable records,
Yeah.
and I
Thank
have
you.
more. But that's an example of cooperation, from my Caucasian cousins,
Yeah.
and and the heart that they have sharing
Uh-huh.
with me.
That's good.
And,
And yeah, because the truth is the truth. Genealogy and the stories. So the white ones that I've connected with, they say, well, I don't have any African American, in any sub-Saharan African. And I said, well, I have European. So what I'm saying is we connect, genetically, or we have those ties, but it may not be from me to them, but from them to me. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Some are open, and some just shut down. They don't communicate anymore.
well, here's something that is helpful, because you asked me about it, and here's what she sent me also. Look at this one,
Oh yeah, I like that.
Moss geography, and I'll show you this. Make it a little bigger.
Bourbon County. Okay, Christian County.
So what she did is she broke it down to the geography.
Yes.
where they were, and the dates and the times of her family. And one reason why I'm going through this again further, because you're asking, and I have the information, and we're here. And this meeting is being recorded, and so when I send this recorded meeting out to our other members, they'll be able to see. And I send the records, but they'll be able to see this document, Carla, because you asked.
And
and
I
I
haven't
wanted
seen it before.
yeah, and I wanted to share it with you.
Thank you.
So there it is, from Kentucky. Talks about it. That talks about Thomas Moss. He was a member of this here Baptist church, 8 miles of Paris, Burton County. And she shows a map of it. There it is, right there.
Wow.
And then that's in Kentucky. And then they migrated to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Moore was definitely in Franklin County, Arkansas by 1820. When the family appeared in a census there, his main plantation was 400 acres, 5.5 miles southeast of Russellville, Alabama.
Wow.
So look at this. He shows where the plantation was. There's Russellville right there.
Yeah.
And she talked about some details about the land. And here it is over here on the side. He talked about Cedar Creek and about Cherry Hill. She has the property already laid out. And it talks about the son lived on there for until 1851, when he probably sold his part to his brother William and moved to Arkansas. William remained on this place until his death in 1890. That's right over here. Now, then they moved. That's the son who takes over, J.C.C. Moss.
Mm-hmm.
And because his dad had passed in 1850. 3 of his sisters and brothers-in-law moved from Alabama to Arkansas about 1851, because the father died in 1850.
Uh-huh.
And this J.C. Moss, he acquired about 300 acres of it, or possibly more. And with Alabama Township in Columbia County. Now it's called Hadley County, Lafayette County, north of Buckner. The first parcel that officially granted to J.C. Moss in 1854 was southeast, and all that. He also had 100 acres and a homestead. So here they are right here. See them? And then here's where the Moss Plantation was. See, it says Moss Plantation. You see that what says JCC Moss Plantation?
Yeah.
There's Buckner, and it shows exactly where it's at. And then it tells a story about it. And then when they moved in Arkansas, Hempstead, here's where the Mosses were right here, Township. They showed it there. Hope, Alabama Township, Prescott, Ozan, Hope. And that's where they all start showing up on the, here's Mongolia,
So,
Hope, Camden. So
Lafayette County. Yeah, I'm familiar with all those towns.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I went to school with a couple of Moss young ladies in Little Rock. It looked like everybody came from the small little AME church in Little Rock, Union AME. And it's 2 Moss young ladies. So I've got to ask her on Facebook about her family.
And let me show you this one.
Okay.
This is kind of detailed information, isn't it?
So she wrote up all of this, Jerry.
Yes.
That's good.
Look at this. Descendants of J.C.C. Moss, that's the son. Moss is slaves and updated in July. This is not a family tree. In 1860, the federal census slave schedules, it has the slave owner was J.C.C. Moss, and these were his slaves. And their ages. See their ages on this side, their sex, and their race. And these were their names over here, and their ages. And then so what she did, she got these different color codes: purple, blue,
Yeah.
orange, and some properties. People, descendants who are DNA matches to Lauren, Tommy, and or Jerry Moss, probably through J.C.C. Moss. Well, these are the people who were enslaved, and these are their names. And after 1860 and 1870, after they were freedmen, they all lived right next to each other in the 1870 census. So the families stuck together right after they were enslaved. And then like I said, this is called the descendants. It goes right on in. There's these are my trees, got their names and everything. 1870s, going down Caroline, Joe Moss. There's a Jerry Moss. These slaves here, these here now. That's 1860 over there. And then here's after they were freed. He shows where they were over on this side. Caroline, all those names, she tracked them. Rufus, Jerry, and Granville, I'm sure. And here's Reuben, right here. Reuben T. Moss. That's my second great grandfather.
Uh-huh.
And there he was born in 1842, passed away in 1918. And he's the one that's buried in Evergreen Cemetery in 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 in, uh, in East Los Angeles. But here's all. Go ahead.
He was in the 1900 and 1910 census of Prescott. Was that in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Okay.
There they are. It shows Taylor, all their places, Ralston, Prescott,
Yeah.
and I got all the pictures of all these people now. This
Wow.
This Etta R. Moss, I know.
Ralston.
Now that's she's one of my cousins. And Josephine Moss, her granddaughter lives in San Diego. So I met her. So and she shared family pictures. So now you understand what I'm saying? It's coming together through DNA. And I had that information, but here comes this dear cousin of mine with all this information to verify. And so here we are. And then it comes down, I know these people, and it comes down, like I said, to Henry and Reuben.
Uh-huh.
And my Thomas Moss. Here he is, Thomas. Thomas is my great grandfather. And there he is, Thomas Moss, and he married
Thomas William.
Yeah, Thomas William Moss. He married my great grandmother Della Heron Moss. And that's where these kids came. And then find a grave, there's my grandfather. And then his son, there's number one's Kenneth, and who my daddy married, Wagner, Oklahoma, and all that. And then here I am, Jerry Moss, right here. And so she went through and came up with this kind of information and verifying it. See, centromorgans. This person 28 DNA matches.
Mm-hmm.
She got, she 9 and Tommy had them. Even some of them are 100 centromorgans
Wow.
matching Tommy's. But I just wanted to share that information with you. And
It's interesting. I saw a lot of names I was familiar with and the towns. Because I got a cousin that's researching in Hempstead, Howard, and Nevada County.
what does it mean to see those kind of records?
Awesome for the connection. Family names. And lots of times you can't, because of marriage and because of name change, but the DNA uh uh proves the connection to the Moss surname.
Betty, can you hear me, Betty?
I had to mute because my dogs were barking.
Yeah, but did you see that presentation?
Yes, I did.
What's your take on that presentation that I shared with?
Well, it tells your line, but it also gives me more to go on too, in mine, because I can type in Burnell, I can type in Johnson, and I can see what I have in my tree and how far they go back. Plus, it gives a location of where they're at. Like I have matches with, I believe, by location. I have a Kimberly Nelson Brownlee out of Kentucky, a Rebecca Duncan, 1796, 1860.
Ooh.
And what
So
happened is, just so y'all know, with Betty, we were helping. She helps me with mine, and I help her with hers. And I asked her, I said, Betty, do you have you reached out to any of your black DNA matches?
Mhm.
And besides myself.
Yeah.
And what she found out is when she did that, I said, tell me who they are. And she did her research and she started finding a number of them. And some of them who were in the hundreds, central mortgage, weren't they, Betty?
yes,
And now she's reaching out to them,
Right.
see, and building bridges with them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have somebody open. And are the people that Betty, the people that you reach out to, are they receptive?
some of them are, some of them have not responded. But I just keep reaching out and trying.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
when I type in my DNA and I just went in and put Burnell, okay. I have quite a few, and Jerry comes up on the Burnell, but I think Jerry's going to be on both sides of the family.
Uh-huh.
My tree crosses so much, but Jerry comes up on my Burnell. Jerry comes up on my Swain side, and that's the reason I say that he's going to be on both sides.
Okay.
Hey,
Um,
double R, are you still here? Who was this?
Yes, sir. Still here.
Now, what is what's your feelings, opinion on what you saw with the records I shared?
Well, actually, man, first of all, man, salute you for the work that you do, man. This is amazing on how we can just learn from you on trying to find relatives, not just that, but who we are. And let me just tell Betty, don't be offended if they don't because we got our own folks who don't respond. But I just think that, man, it's very important for us to know, to understand the DNA, because it's going to be real valuable. Like in California, when we do just reparations as far as genealogy, as far as African American descendants only, lineage based. But hey, man, hey, I'm just a student, bro. I'm just observing. I got my, I'm just observing and I'm just learning. And I think your work is just, it's just amazing, bro. You know how I feel. Salute, King. Like
Yeah,
proud every second of our, yes, sir.
thank you.
I don't
And
get offended. I just pass their names on to Jerry and let him reach out.
There you go, Betty. There you go.
Clarice, what did you glean from that presentation from that I gave on those family documents, Clarice?
All is not lost, even though it may look dim at times. All it takes is one connection who may have a whole slew of connections.
Yes.
You just got to get that right person, that one person. Through DNA, you can do that because we can't trace for so very many reasons. A lot of things happen,
Yes.
especially the older you are trying to do this, where people changed their names, people didn't want to be discovered, and all these different things. But you can't hide from DNA. You can't change that. And it just takes one connection. And that connection may have 5 or 6 connections. And out of those 5 or 6, you may have 15 or 20 connections. So there is hope. That's what I get out of all of that. Thank you.
Well said, Betty. I mean, Clarice.
That's great. Well, that's the purpose. That's why your desire to learn more about it, Carla. And so that's why I took the time to. Why put off next week what I can do now? And that's why I shared those records with you, those documents. And it means a lot to be able to share it.
That was good information, Jerry. That was whoever had done that work. I know you know the name. That was awesome information.
Just so I can, that's why I'm getting it out on this format. I'm sharing it as I get it. I share it because if I don't put it out there, it'll just be here.
That's right.
That I want to plant seeds of success, seeds of knowledge, so there can be some harvest. That it can open up doors and build bridges, because ultimately we're all going to have to work through this challenge. The challenges that we're dealing with politically, we're going to all have to be together. Those of like minds, we're going to have to be together and find a common ground. And I believe our common ground is DNA.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And like Clarice said, DNA don't lie.
So as we close out today, I do want to ask one thing on the reparations, double R. Where are we at?
Okay, Jerry, I'm glad you asked. Hold up, I'm feeding my face right now.
That's all right. Cookies.
Well, thanks for asking. The last 2 weeks has been amazing. We've been doing great work here in California. Our bills was about to die on 2/21, but the CLBC members, the California Legislative Black Caucus, did find a way to get a knockoff version of the SB 1403, which was the American Freedmen Affairs Agency, would allow us to establish an agency to start and finish the process of the lineage-based reparations. So they put a bill out, the AB 518, which was to do another study on genealogy. I'm glad I'm here. But we need no more study. We did a 2-year study already with the AB 3121 with the California Reparations Task Force, and it was already proven through our genealogists that that's all we need. It's just like you guys see here. We need another study. A brother like Jerry and Yvette that he hit me to. You guys got it. You guys got to do. We don't need to do no more study about how can we find out where we come from. Okay, now jackpot right here. Now moving forward, we got blessed and we got a assembly member, Bill Lasaley, which is a Republican, the one who exposed the COBC, the California Legislation Black Caucus, on August 31st for not putting our bills on the floor. He's in my district, District 63. Yay. He's right where I'm at here in the IE and in Empire. And he agreed to author our bills. So February 20th, actually, I think it was a day before Friday, he announced our SB 1403, American Freedom Affairs Agency bill. So now we just have to put the other bills attached to it. We also this past week, we also asked them to keep track of the 12 million, and we asking for the 6 million to go to our elders 16 and older to start making cash payments now. You don't need a agency for that. We know who qualify. So that's where we are right now. We still got a lot of work to do. We got some more bills to write up before June. So it's looking good. And our genealogists that we have here and Yvette and everybody else, get ready. Strap up because it's work to do. Double R from CJ Coalition for Adjustment Equitable California. I appreciate this platform. I yield Black Power.
Does anyone have any questions for Reggie?
No,
I do.
just educational.
Okay, Double R. It was Thursday. I was at a National Association of Minority Contractors convention at the Sheraton in Harbor Island. And one of our speakers was City Councilman Henry Foster. He's one of our keynote speakers. And I've been working with him for a number of years on the reparations topic and task force here in San Diego. He started off as an assistant to supervisor Monica Step Montgomery, and she's a supervisor now, and he took her place as city council member in San Diego. So as Double R says, we have to be politically connected. And after his speech, I talked with his I talked to his chief of staff, and Councilman Foster came over to me, and we took a picture together. But as he approached me, Double R, he said, hey, Brother Moss, you know that the reparations is back on, back online. I said, yeah, I'm familiar with that. He said, well, let's get together and talk about it, in the near future. I said, fine, we'll set it up and we exchange cards. So I'm just letting you know from you giving me information and my connections and your connections, we have to cover all bases. All parts of the United States, not just California. That's my goal. Mm-hmm. I just want to give you a report from that you can carry on, that you can get give forward. You can share with whoever you would like to. The City Councilman Henry Foster brought the topic up to me, and he's on board to work with us.
Well, you have to be careful what he's talking about. Is he talking about the COBC's so-called reparations bill, or is he talking about
He's
which is
talking
the
about
AB 5? We got to be careful. The AB 518 bill is set up to be a failure, and Akilah Weber in San Diego Assembly, Akilah Weber, Dr. Shirley's daughter, is the chair of the COBC, and they are trying to sabotage the so-called 1403 that they're writing, the American Freedom Affairs Agency. That's why we had wrote the AB, I'm sorry, the Assembly Bill 1315. So just make sure he understands which bill is the proper one
yeah,
to support.
the
Yeah.
1315. That's why I'm
Okay,
asking you.
1315.
I have to make sure that I'm taught.
Right.
You teach me, then
Right.
I'll learn, and then I can, convey the message. I'm just letting you know I'm making the connections, a double R, and I want to make sure that I have the right information because I don't want to go down those rabbit holes and go into it, not be in collaboration with CJ. I want to be in collaboration with CJ. And all these here acronyms and numbers and everything, when it all comes down to it, we want what's due to us.
And we want to fight the right way and make sure that they pass this time
Right.
on August 31st. That part. I concur.
All right. Well,
thank you all.
thank you.
And I'm looking forward to the next one, Jerry. Hopefully I'll get my classmate to come on and she can introduce herself.
Well, you did. We had
Margaret.
Yeah, she came on and that was very helpful.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was a little
Oh yeah, she was on for a long time, and she shared some information. She shared her story.
Very good. Very good.
So
okay.
Our next meeting will be March 16th.
Okay.
So I'm just letting you know, and I'll be getting information out to you. And I just pray everything that you be safe, warm, and keep your head on a swivel. You have to watch.
That's right. That's right.
And be ready because it's coming. It's coming our way. But I
Thank you, Double R.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Queen. Thank you as well.
All right.
Y'all take care. It's all good.
Likewise.
It's all God.
Okay.
All right.
Paris, have you talked to your cousin? About the kit? Guess not. But I'll follow up with her. I'll talk to you later. Later, cousin Betty.
Oh, I'm sorry, my microphone was muted.
Oh yeah,
I'm just talking away.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying that you need to send it to me, and then my brother comes down back and forth, and I'll have him take it to her and have her do it and send it off because she's got a couple of great grandchildren there and a couple of wayward grown kids threw it out, and people just grab stuff, throw things stuff. It'll get lost in the mail if that's not an issue.
Yes, we'll have to talk about that process. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, take care. We'll Enjoy the rest of the day that you have. It's all good. It's all God. Peace.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem.
Okay.
And I still haven't got checked on the one that I found. So one way or the other, I'll get one to her.
Okay.
Okay, then.